get eyes on track. As we're looking at Demoby currently sitting in first. Oh god. Chescamp, Demoby setting the fastest time there in qualifying. Jasko VR not too far behind him, a couple of attempts. Edwin about half second behind these boys, but always goes well in the race. We'll see how he does. Currently sitting in third at the minute, our championship leader on the points. Uniclark in fourth place, did a good old job there to get fourth place in that 488. Dufinio, one of our regulars there, our Czech driver, sitting in fifth. Good workout by him. Scotty in sixth. Bammer in seventh. Then we have the console in a good position there in the NSX in 8th. Sherbet Gandhi, was it? Yep, in 9th. A bit of a poor one for him. He can do better, so it'll be good to see. Uber finishing our top 10 off. Our regular there, Uber. Good old drive. Kembo, disappointing qualifying by him in 11th. Millsy in 12th. Tuggy Bear 13th. And Javi in 14th with race sitter at the back is Night Pigeon. It's good to have you, Martin. Thank you for joining us. This will be one of his first couple of races here at Robbins Racing. So it'll be interesting to just see how all the boys do at the minute. As they're just getting the fuel load sorted out. They're just getting everything sorted. This is a thunderstorm, of course. So going into some light rain. It will ease off as the race goes on for our future. Jasko VR, what can he do with the Lambo at the start? Usually a good starter, but then again, so is the Skyline if it doesn't bog down. So we'll check out that start there. Then we've got Edwin and Uniclark. That'll be interesting to watch them two. Ferrari 488 versus the AMG off the line. I think at the Lambos, I have my prediction where they're going to struggle. 18 seconds, boys. 15 seconds to go. Was going to struggle here, but we shall see. We'll keep eyes on Jaska so we can actually see the actual start to this race. 10-second warning for those that haven't read it up. Here we go. The start of round 4. Robbins Racing, Red Bull Ring GP. Looking at Demoby on the front of the grid with Jasko in the rear view. What sort of start do we get coming into turn 1? Looks like a good start by both Demoby and Jasko VR. Looks like Uniclark got a hell of a start there. Let's see if all the boys can behave into the first corner. The Castrol Edge, turn 1. Did they do it? It looks like Jasko was on the inside of Demoby there. A little bit of contact, but manages to get going again. Everybody giving each other the room to race. We've got a few off back there. Kenbo and Ubar arguing on track. Let's have it, boys. Let's have you all a little bit cleaner. Thank you very much. Taking a look back, Demoby's got going, but Uniclark on the inside of Edwin coming up into Remus corner. So I think Uniclark may have the view done. Hang on. Yep, he has Edwin out wide a little bit there, maybe forced out wide, but sitting in fourth at the minute. Edwin's not going to want that. As we take a look back at Scotty side by side, he's got Sherbet Gandhi on the left. Great fighting by these boys. Edwin having a look at Uniclark. Uniclark defending the line. Sherbet Gandhi very, very wide there. Scotty definitely going to hold the position. Now let's have a look behind him because Bammer, and looks like Jasko's got going again. Jasko now. Oh, he's going to span. Does he keep the car? He does, but it comes back across track. Both him and it looks like Uniclark dropping places. That's released Scotty now. Scotty into third place, Edwin into second. That's what Edwin really wanted, was to get back up in that point scoring position again. These boys going well now. Let's take a quick look back at the console. And Millsy having a good outing at the minute. The console on the outside. Hell of a move that through the roof. Coming up onto the rink corner. Let's just take a little look back at what we've got. It looks like we've got Sherbet Gandhi hassling the back end of what looks to be Tuggy Bear. He's up the inside of Kembo. Looks like a good clean move. Looks like Kembo may have even delayed the steering a tiny bit. Back up with our race. Well, at the minute, we're looking at Demoby setting all kinds of pace across there. We're 3 seconds quicker than everybody on that outlap. On the first lap there. So these boys not wanting to give up a little too much room through here, especially to somebody with that kind of pace. We'll take a quick look back at what Ubar's up to on the back of Jasko VR. These boys, very quick indeed, but have had offs. Jasko very wide there. We'll keep involved with what's going on in front as we're looking at Bammer chasing down the back of Scotty. Dufinio there, Millsy on the back end of this. So these boys, maybe Dufinio's got a bit out of sorts there. Millsy may have done the run on him coming up to the Slosh Goal corner. Sorry if I get that wrong. Take a look at these trainer cars. Bammer now. Oh, that's Bammer. It looks like Millsy has cut back across on the console. We've got a yellow flag, boys. Yellow flag coming up into turn 3, Schloss Goal. Please be careful. Please be careful. Look back on there. It looks like Millsy just didn't see the console on the left-hand side and just cut across. Unfortunately, that is racing at the minute. Hopefully these boys can keep it clean behind because the console very wide now, and it looks like Kembo's got himself in the top 10, but I mean, we're taking just a little bit back at Tuggy Bear seems to have got real destroyed in that sort of onslaught there. Is Z4 Kembo up the inside? Maybe I had to get out of it there a little bit. We'll go back on the speed on the map. Good driving by these boys, keeping it very clean. Kembo, very patient driver. We'll have a quick on board with Millsy. Being hunted down by Javi. Sherbet Gandhi. What are our boys up to there at the minute? So, they get all sorts of side with Millsy off again with Sherbet Gandhi. These boys are going to have to let the train of cars come through. We'll keep on board with Bama, Delfino in front of him. Tuggy Bear through this melee of traffic now. These boys, with this weather, really catching them out. Ubar in the middle of all this. He's got the inside line though. Following up now. Jasko VR into 7th. Hopefully these boys can get it stopped and not ram him into the corner, which they managed to do. Ubar, very fair though. Kembo, very fair too on that line. The console on the outside. Well, he managed to get it done. Does Kembo see him? We are 3 wide here. Coming up onto turn 2, Remus now. These boys, the console has got, looks like the outside. As we take a quick look out, Ubar's got the inside, so these boys are going to have to defend. What is Sherbet Gandhi doing in the background there? Looks like these boys got very, very wide. Does look like Sherbet Gandhi's got a run on them. Hopefully these boys see each other and we don't get a repeat of the last lap where they just get closed off at the first bit. Looks like the console's taking an easier line through there. Hopefully Sherbet Gandhi gets it stopped. He doesn't hit Uniclark. Uniclark now on the outside of... oh, no. The console got the move done. Good move by the console as we take a look on board with Jasko VR showing Javi the inside of the Lambo. He's just trying to get a reaction out of Javi in front. Looks like he's very much a lot faster through that section of track. He looks like he's got the speed for the Rouch and the Worth section. As Jasko runs wide, I wonder what's going on with him at the minute. Ubar through, the console through, yeah. Is he going to lose any more spots? What can Sherbet Gandhi get through? Jasko going defensive, and he's got every right to be defensive. These boys got to keep it clean. Sherbet Gandhi up the inside of Jasko VR. Good line through there. Jasko VR, will he do the undercut? No, he doesn't. Sherbet Gandhi gets a little wide. He gets tapped from the back. We'll keep a look on Bubama. There are hands being held up at the minute. Uniclark. Side by side with Ubar. As they come at the start-finish into the Castrol Edge corner. Good driving by everybody out on the track. Ubar, our Dutch driver here, showing you why he's one of the staples in the Rubbing Racing League. The console gets a great line coming out the Castrol Edge corner. Will he be a factor coming up into turn 2? Looks like these boys are all on each other's draft at the minute, so they'll all have to sort of behave themselves. All the while, Demobi, 4-second gap back to Edwin, so increasing that lead by a second there. Quick look, looks like Uniclark got all sorts of sideways, and the console was a victim of that. Hopefully the console through on track, that's good to see. But looks like Uniclark's showing him the inside. He is indeed. Does the console see him there? Very late breaker into there, the console. Hopefully they both manage to get it stopped. They do. There is some racing going on with Bama, so let's have a quick look at what them guys are up to through the Concertina effect through Worth. Bama, our other American driver, must say he's got the best end of the stick tonight between our American drivers. Up in 5th at the minute, out of traffic. Kembo having all sorts of difficulties there. We'll have a quick board on Linsfoot, who can see. Let's go on board with him through the the Red Bull Mobile. Good line through there by Scotty. Chasing down Edwin, our champ leader at points at the minute. Coming up onto Castrol Edge. Let's see what sort of lines there. Good lap last time round by Linsfoot as well. He's definitely catching Edwin. Edwin takes such a line through there. He cuts a lot of the track, so hopefully these boys can avoid slowdowns and what's as we see a few boys in the background. I think Delfinio going very wide there. So we've got Ubar leading a train of cars here. Ubar in front of the console, in front of Uniclark. Kembo on the back of him, I think as well. Somewhere, yeah. Ready to pounce. Anything goes wrong here, so we'll have a quick board with the console who is chasing down Uniclark. Always gets a good run out of the Castrol Edge corner, but Ubar with the straight line speed there. These boys getting it stopped. Good. Uniclark, 7/10 up on his best. The console on his inside. These boys need to see each other because this is the second time they've been in this situation. We'll go on board with the console. Must say he's having a good laugh tonight. He said in his driver profile that he does like to go wheel to wheel to people, so he's having his wish fulfilled tonight. Our British driver from Norwich doing a good job in the NSX there. Take a quick look back at what Mills is up to. He's on the back end of Sherbet Gandhi, which is no mean feat. Sherbet Gandhi having a bit of a nightmare this time round. Good driver, good fast driver usually. Must have had a couple of offs. In fact, I've seen him have a few offs. These boys getting a bit caught out with the rain and the weather. Go and have a look back at what's happening with the console and Uniclark and Uber. All these boys so close to one another. We'll have an on-board actually with the console as they come through this section of the track. His front windscreen not looking the best. We'll jump on board with Uniclark. Great shot of Uber in front. Likes to show him the inside of coming up to Rindt. Both managed to get it stopped. That's the main thing. Third, Vettel in the further through that section of the track. Wow, Uniclark really on the back of him there. Console took a much deeper line into that corner, so... As I'm saying that, we'll have a quick look on board with Linsfoot, who's caught up Edwin. I do want to watch these boys, though, into turn one to see if they get it stopped. It looks like the console has got the number into turn one of these boys, definitely. But then gets onto the straight and it's gone again. Let's have a quick look at Scotty. And Duffinio in the background is catching this little train up. The Mobis managed to pull 7 seconds out now with almost just over 10 minutes of the race to gone. Half race distance, of course. Quick look back at Uber, what they up to. Uber did have the inside, but Uniclark very fair through Remus, giving each other the room to race here. Uber, our Dutch driver from Dreef, doing a good job, but it looks like Uniclark's got the job done now. Is Uber under threat maybe from the console as they're coming into the Schlossgoal corner? He goes defensive. It's probably a good thing to do. The console on the outside in the NSX. That'll be a difficult place to do, and he will shut the door. Uber is a very experienced driver, knows he can get away with that sort of thing. It is within the confines of the rules, as long as it's not passing the console. Much better line through there. A lot more grip coming into the Rouch section of the track. I want to have a quick little onboard with Linsfoot and the Concertina effect, the Red Bull mobile corner. It's great to see him still on the back end of Edwin. As we're seeing console and Uber very close there, but managed to keep it away from each other on the run down to Rindt. Be interesting to see if the console can keep it in front of Uber with all that speed of the AMG. Good line though. Uber lost a bit of momentum there. So Uniclark leading this train, and Uniclark all over the arse end of Javi now, coming up into the Castrol Edge, turn one. See if they can keep it clean foremost. Good lap last time round by Uniclark, full second up on his time, so must the track coming to them, I reckon. Through turn one, it looks like Javi got very wide there, very wide, so Uniclark's going to have the run on him, coming up to Remus, turn two. Let's have a look at these boys. It's just a shot back from there. Trackside now, it looks like Javi has the inside line, but that's a good line there. Uniclark did the undercut and will have the place done and dusted there. Uniclark, good move on track there. Obviously, Javi's not going to want to give the position up too easy. He may have to go defensive coming into Schlossberg. He doesn't. Pulled out enough of a lead there, I think. So, the console on the back of these two. Uber in the background there. Quick on board with Millsy, as these guys are having their own internal battle. Still on the back end of Sherbet Gandhi. Sherbet Gandhi, of course, not having the best of luck in this race. Our British driver from Somerset. Back on board, a quick on board with Uber, chasing down the console and Javi in front. See that gap? It looks like the console is very racy through this section, through the Worth section of the track. And looks like someone was very wide. It looks like Javi was very wide, so yeah. The console sitting in sixth now. Up the road, 2 seconds up the road is Uniclark. He's going to have the bit between his teeth. Let's go on board with the console and look at what that gap looks like. On track to Uniclark. Through the Castrol Edge corner. The console coming off a little bit there into second. Go trackside. Where's the racing at the minute? Scotty, again, seems to catch up through the Red Bull Mobile, but through turn one, it looks like Edwin takes a lot longer line through there and manages to keep a lot more momentum. And then it's down to Scotty again to lose the time up that little section of track into turn two. So we'll have a look on board with Edwin, our Columbia driver, as he's being chased down by Scotty. To the Schlossgoal corner. Very tidy. That AMG looks very good under the brakes at the minute. Good line through there. You can physically hear that 488 in the background though, lifting and feathering the throttle. Doesn't want to go around, of course. Linsfoot running full assist too. So Scotty and Edwin going at it for second place. Good positions of points that they're going to score here, as we see Sherbet Gandhi and Millsy still fighting in the background. Looks like Scotty had a bad line through there. Sherbet Gandhi on the back end of Kembo now. Kembo looks like he's got half a Z4 left. He's had a bit of a stinker for this one, unfortunately. He's been involved in all sorts of accidents that weren't his fault. Sherbet Gandhi looks a lot more racier off the Schlossgold corner there as they're coming up into Roush, so we'll see who's got the better sort of setup here. Jasko VR back in the top 10. One of the quickest drivers out on track at the minute. Oh, Sherbet Gandhi gets sideways. We'll go on board with Jasko VR as he's hunting down Javi for 9th place, it looks like. It is Javi, our Australian driver. It's been a lifetime sim race. The likes of GT3 class. Jasko up the inside. Nice line by our Bosnian driver based in Vienna. New to the RR leagues, climbing back up the ladder after them few excursions. So next up for Jasko VR would be Uber. But looks like Javi's not content. He's will show him that line. Dauphinio now looks like he's closing a little bit on Scotty, our Welsh driver from Swansea, as we'll have a quick look at what Dauphinio's up to as he finishes turn 2, it looks like, yeah. So you can see how far that 488 is in front of him. Dauphinio, our Czech driver from Olomouc. He's good in the bends and he's not very experienced. He has said on the driver profile of Wet Weather League Racing, so good outing by him to say he's not totally 100% comfortable at the minute. Chasing down Scotty in front. Feathering the throttle through that section of track. I've got a quick on board with Scotty, who seems to have lost sight with Edwin a little bit. There's been a second dropped, if anything, through that last section, so maybe Dauphinio catching. Just getting a little notification there that Javi's still hassling the ever faster Jasko VR. Dauphinio's made a mistake somewhere. Jasko through. Is Javi through too? He isn't. Uber manages to pull it back on track, but looks like Uber, our Dutch driver, had made a big mistake there, and he's lost a position for it. Uniclark doing a good job chasing down Bammer in the Lamborghini. That gap within a second, so those boys very close to each other. Looks like Javi has just taken Uber on track for 9th too. So Uber having some real difficulties in the last little bit of this race, the last 5 minutes. That Merc seems to have really come alive, and the back end catching him out a little bit. Uniclark doing a great job in 6th place, our British driver, chasing down Bammer. Be interested to see with 4 minutes to go just what these boys can do. Dauphinio popping up there under the Concertina effect, turn 2. Good lines by these boys, all within a couple of seconds of each other. We take a look back at Uber. Has he got going again? He has. Does he navigate the Cashel Edge corner pretty well? Let's have a look at the roof cam and see physically how fast he is compared to the 499 of Javi in front of him. Javi in front of him, sorry, my bad. Chases down the Australian driver. Javi looks like he goes defensive, but cuts back across again. Better line through there. Uber on a much better lap this time, but he was a bit squiggly last time out, so he will have been. Uniclark through the Schlossgold corner. Still chasing down Bammer, so there's still a fight over 5th place there to be decided, and the console's only just in the background, so these boys make any mistakes, the console's going to probably pounce. Let's have a look at Uber as he's also coming up onto the same section of track. So the first half of this track, as Uber gets a better run there as they're on the inside. Uber's going to be on the outside. Looks like Uber got back out of it again. I'm not too sure what's happening. Uber losing a lot of traction through there. Kembo's going to be very encouraged by this. Dauphinio. So we see Edwin crossing the line now. That's lap 12. Dauphinio chasing down Scotty in front. A little bit of psychological warfare as the lights flash there. He's letting him know he's there. Does he get through the turn 1 alright? Takes a bit of the curb there, but gets away with it. These boys on the limit at the minute. Jasko VR. Uniclark, who's really impressed this first time out. On the outside now, he'll be on the inside for the Cashel Edge. Will that Lambo get it, the track and the position done? It looks like he's going to have a go at Uniclark. Does Uniclark see him first of all? Under the brakes now. They do. They give each other the room to race. That's good to see. Jasko VR still climbing the ladder. Console in front of him. I reckon with 2 minutes 50 to go, the console's going to be sweating a little bit, as it looks like Uniclark's having another look at inside of him. At least does he having a go? He may have a slowdown there with Jasko. Uniclark back at him, so you never know with this one. These boys can run wide and have a slowdown. It's all about the line off there, as Kembo looks like he's very close to Uber. Kembo a little off his best at the minute. Have a look at the roof cam, see this. You have to think what the cockpit cam looks like, unfortunately. Looks like that AMG just has the leg when it gets to the straight. It's back aboard with Jasko VR, who's really wanting that 7th position. He's got the bit between his teeth. It'd be interesting to see if him, Demoby, Edwin, and the likes of the lads that are all setting 136s at the minute. Class of the field, Sherbet Gandhi also within relative distance of that. Definio, Linsfoot, all quick. If anything, Linsfoot a full second quicker than Edwin last time out. Jasko still Askell in the back end of him. Kembo very close now to Ubar. Ubar been struggling. Kembo 3 tenths up on his best as he goes very wide. It looks like, yeah. Sherbet Gandhi get it done as well? I think so. No, Sherbet Gandhi runs wide. So Kembo back on track. Jasko into 8th. It's a shame to see as we just come to them there that they're just losing that traction there. Jasko still fighting with Javi. So the console free for now. Good point scoring position for the console. You've got to take your hat off to him, British driver from Norwich, really, in that NSX. Managing to beat the likes of these guys in front. Looks like Jasko got a much better run off that corner there, off the Cashel Edge, turn 1 he has, so he's going to try weighing him up. Let's go on the roof, but let's have a look what Jasko's actually seeing at the minute. Uniclark in front, will he pull defensive? He doesn't. Jasko on the brakes. He looks like he's just showing him the inside at the minute. Yeah, seeing if he can get a reaction. It's good from these boys. As I'm saying that, the console and Bama very through, but it looks like Jasko's through on track. He must have got some great traction from that corner there. Will Uniclark fight back? Jasko goes defensive. It's good to see he doesn't pull back across the line on the Slodge corner to really catch Uniclark out. We've got a spinner there. We have. I think Bama's gone around. He has. Does he manage to get it going again? We've got a yellow flag at the Slodge corner. Turn 3. Be wary, boys. Be wary. Jasko now. Uniclark still Askell in the back of him. Bama, how many more positions will that guy lose? Kembo coming up on him now. Looks like he's managed to get it going again. So Uniclark fighting over that spot. We've got 17 seconds to go. Let's have a look on board with our race leader at the minute. Demoby, our Bavarian driver from Germany. Not had much run time. This looks like it will be the last lap as he enters turn 2. Obviously leading this race from start to finish. Good to see the cars getting out the way there of our race leader. No plug flags needed. Good racing going on. Jasko. Well, it looks like he's next to the console now as these boys come across. This will be the last lap, so we'll see what Jasko can do. Just on board with our race leader at the minute. Doing a good job coming through the Slodge corner. Take a look back. Where's Edwin on track? Just coming through turn 2 now. He has Linsfoot for company, our Welsh driver, Scotty. Take a look back. What is Jasko up to with the console? He looks a bit further off to do anything up into turn 2, but he is fast. We'll take a look back at board with Demoby, who's navigating Worth. Good job in that GTR in the rain. It's been the class of the field, really, that 4-wheel drive. Coming up into Rint, can he keep it clean? I'm sure he will do. He's managed to do 13 laps of it, so good to see. Of course, missing a few people this time round. Luke Bennett, just a late drop away. Gonna give a shout out to him, definitely. Demoby, from start to finish, the class of the field, our race 1 sprint race winner. Congratulations, bro, well raced. Edwin, coming up onto Rint now. Still has Linsfoot for company, as we'll have a quick look at Linsfoot, the roof. Yeah, Edwin's got this done, so Edwin through the Red Bull mobile corner. Looks like he's got second place all wrapped up. Our Colombian driver grabs second place there. Good driving by him, but the guy behind from Swansea doing a marvellous job there in the 488. Hat is off completely to you there, buddy. Absolutely, Scotty. Hell of a drive. As we take a look back to Finio now. He's going to be happy with the 4th place, I reckon. When no assist in the rain. Very brave back. Good driving from our Czech driver from Olomouc there. Good point scoring position. Take a look back. The console did keep that 5th place. What a hell of a drive. Good drive in the console. Jasko through as well. It was a bit of a save drive from him. He has had the speed. Uniclark behind him. Also give us some good racing. Ubar and Bama now very close on track, but it looks like Javi's going to have the place. It does. Followed by Ubar. Bama leading our top 10 position. Kembo having a bit of a nightmare of a race, it must be said. It wasn't one of his best by far, but in 11th at the minute. Leading Sherbet Gandhi and Tuggy Bear across the line. Our American driver coming on in 11th. He'll start a lot better for our feature, as it's a reverse grid of this one, so see what the boys can do. 10th place downwards, so still catching up. So yeah, that's perfect, Tuggy Bear, just leading round at that. I'll get the speed up and the map. Thank you for sticking with us for our feature race of the night. Tuggy Bear just leading the field round at the minute. Everyone seems to have caught up, coming through that corner, that's brilliant. So the boys putting a bit of heat into the tyres, into the brakes, all with... they do have a mandatory pit stop. I'm just having a look on board with Tuggy Bear leading the field around. There's a slightly less fuel than the boys behind him, so a bit of different tactics going. The boys in the background all warming up the tyres good. Again, thank you for joining us on our Red Bull feature race of round 4 of the Robbins Racing Championship. At the minute, the back of the grid, we've got Edwin leading the field, well, leading the championship. Demobi not too far behind, but all the quick guys at the back of the field for this one. So they've got to make their way through. Demobi, Edwin, Linsfoot having a good outing there. Rufinho, looks like Jaskov Villa's consoles having a bit of a nair there. So they all catch up with each other. Right, good. So, just before, like, as we're coming round, yeah, that's perfect, Tuggy Bear. When you come round this next corner onto when it straightens up a little bit, then we'll try and get everyone side by side for it. So Millsy wants to be on the left-hand side of you very shortly when we come to this bit. Right, boys, can you stagger up side by side, either side of each other? Slow it down a tiny bit, Tuggy Bear, so the boys behind can form up as well. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Sweet. Thank you. All the boys forming up there, so on board with that's brilliant, Tuggy Bear. That looks absolutely sick. For our feature race, 25 laps around the Red Bull Ring. Tuggy Bear leading the field away on the rolling lap. It's up to him when he wants to go, once he's on that start-finish. Of course, the track is live if he doesn't go before the start-finish. Lining up now. So, it's Tuggy Bear with Millsy on the outside of him. Then we have Sherbet. Is that Sherbet Gandhi? It is, with Kembo for company on the outside of him. Bama and Uber. Uniclark and Jasko, the console. So, taking a look on board with Uniclark. They've gone. It's green light. The race is on. And it looks like Tuggy Bear's got the run on him. But Millsy, coming up the inside, looks like he's defending from Sherbet Gandhi a little bit there. He was. Looks like Millsy's really outdone him, braked himself. These boys getting a little caught out there with the braking zone with full fuel on board. Tuggy Bear looks like getting hassled a little bit. Kembo on the outside. These boys need to behave themselves coming into turn 2 of Remus. Kembo on the outside of the other Z4 here. Bama, very close proximity. These boys need to keep it clean. Keeping on board, looking at Uber on the outside. Looks like he may have lost a couple of places. No, made up a couple of places there. Look at Kembo with the drive on the outside. Kembo takes the lead of this race. Tuggy Bear dropping back a tiny bit, but still holding second. But it looks like who has that on the outside? Hopefully these boys get it stopped. Looks like Kembo got a bit of a whack from behind. Tuggy Bear definitely venturing from that. Does Kembo manage to get it back on track? That's a shame to see. That's a bugger to see. Kembo back, dropping to 11th. Not brilliant. Millsy on the inside of Jasko. Jasko from near the back of the field. Bama onto the grass. That's caused Javi now to really be back on the back of Uber, but his Uniclark is sideways. Bama hits him, Demobi misses him, the console through. That's good to see. Bama's going to have to wait for the field to go around. We'll have a little look on board with Tuggy Bear. Sherbet Gandhi up his inside into Rint. Sherbet Gandhi very wide there, may even get a bit of a slowdown. These boys keeping it within the confine. Jasko VR from the back of the grid into 3rd position. What can you say about that? Showing him the inside, coming up into the cash-led corner. Looks like he's got the move done. Tuggy Bear very safe, very wise there. Backs off, lets the position happen. We've got racing behind. Let's have a look a bit further back. Who've we got? We've got Kembo side by side with what looks to be Scotty. It is. He had a good first outing. He's making his way back up the field. Kembo, the big loser from that one. Really wasn't his fault under the braking. We'll take a look back up top. What's happening with Jasko? Millsy gets himself all out of shape. Millsy's going to have to give that position back. That's a shame to see. Millsy very late on the brakes, and Jasko VR gets whacked for the sake of it, unfortunately. Losing out there, but heads down now, boys. Let's keep it safe. Sherbet Gandhi looking on the back. Ubar's got the inside of the corner. Tuggy Bear too. Looks like Sherbet Gandhi again outbraked himself and hit the back of Uber, so may have to give that position. Looks like, what is it? Tuggy Bear very wide there as well. So Sherbet Gandhi definitely defending the inside into Roush there from Jasko VR. Sherbet Gandhi sitting in second. Uber inherits the lead of this race. It's been a bit of a messy start, but the boys all settling down now. We'll take a look back. The console as Demobi, our race winner there in his sights. Demobi, good better line through there. Got back on board with Sherbet Gandhi. Looks like Sherbet Gandhi showing Rufinho the inside there. Hopefully he manages to get it stopped with the brakes. does, keeping it clean as they enter the Red Bull Mobile section of track. Looks like Sherbet Gandhi's got a bit of extra pace through the bends, but that AMG is very quick. Someone very wide, the console, very wide there. Will get a slowdown, hopefully Millsy in the scene. Sherbet Gandhi coming up into turn 1, onto the brakes. Looks like he made a very late move, may have even touched a little bit. Jasko's going to have the run. Tuggy Bear, very, very wide there. The back end looked very difficult, to say the least. Having a look on board with the console, chasing down Dauphinio. Dauphinio and Javi now. Let's have a quick on board with these boys. Just in front of them, I think you've got Javi and Tuggy Bear side by side. We'll go trackside and have a look at this little melee that they're having. Demobi in the middle of all that as well. Hopefully he can keep it out. Let's have a quick on board with Sherbet Gandhi and Jasko. They're having a squabble. Jasko on the inside of Ubar. Does Ubar see him? He does. He does delay the steering. Good by these boys so far, not to wipe one another out. Jasko looks like that car's handling a lot better for him, a lot more stable. Showing him the inside. Just trying to get a reaction out of Ubar, and it looked like he got one. Ubar still holding first. Take a look back at Tuggy Bear. What's he up to now? Demobi got through. Demobi now on the back end of Javi. So Demobi from the back of the field up into 5th. Good driving by him. There's a console been struggling around this section of track all weekend. As we take a look on board with Sherbet Gandhi, he's gone wide again, very late on the brakes, and he's definitely outbraked himself. Hopefully the boys can all get it sorted out. Sherbet Gandhi being shown our first yellow flag of the night. Get very wide there, manages to pull it in, but Sherbet Gandhi needs to watch himself under the braking now. Looks like in the background, Millsy getting a little wide. Right, Ubar defensive into the first corner. Sherbet Gandhi on the outside, but does he manage to keep the wheels within the track? Looks like on track he's got that position done, but the that Mercedes isn't going to want to get that position up. Quick look back at the other lads here. You can just see Ubar fighting in front. He wants that position back up on the inside of... oh! Javi gets the braking wrong. Not a good line through there. Javi's going to have to slow down and let those cars back through. That's not going to be on track. Dauphinio, them boys are going to want that position back off him. Good driving by Javi to realise that he was the cause of half that trouble there. The console now with Uniclark. Slight touch, Uniclark, does he save it? He does. The console on the outside. We've got all sorts going on here. Ubar has to go a little defensive there. The console and Uniclark still touching mid-corner. These boys need to sort themselves out. Looks like the console's just backed off a little bit and reassessed it as Dauphinio. Looks like he locked up there under braking into the Roush corner. Millsy and Ubar, all sorts of sideways. The back end of that AMG proving difficult at the minute. Looks like the console with a lot better line through there. Oh, Ubar, it looks like Sherbet Gandhi and the console have made a little bit of contact. The console keeping it going. Good driving, but definitely some contact back there. Edwin, our race championship winner. Wow, they're so wide through there. There must have been contact. Didn't see what happened. Sherbet Gandhi, meanwhile, into the wall. He's going to let the train come through to get it round properly. Linsfoot chasing after Dauphinio, our Czech driver. Scotty, our Welsh driver from Swansea, it is his favourite track, so he's definitely putting in the laps here. Millsy having a look at him. We'll have a look on board with the console. Edwin looking very vulnerable coming out of turn 1. Looks like something you don't see. The NSX of the console hassling Edwin. Edwin goes defensive, but the console pulls back. Does Edwin see him? Hopefully these boys see each other. It looks like they did. Edwin, fantastic driving, gets the cutback on the console. That would be a great move, and he managed to make it stick. Quick look at what's happening with Millsy. Good move by the console there on the brakes. But then Edwin straight back at him with the undercut. So great driving throughout the field by these boys. We'll take a look back at what Ubar's up to. He's lost a bunch of places now. Kembo has to delay the steering a lot there to avoid an accident. Ubar into 10th. Kembo, our resident USA driver, in 11th now. Tuggy Bear dropping back through the field into 9th. Uniclark getting going again, but still having a power out. Ubar very wide. That's going to be Kembo through, you would have thought, through the Roush section. No, Ubar keeping the position on track, so managing to get it stopped. But Ken looks so much quicker through them corners, so looks like only a matter of time with the back end of that AMG being as lively as it is. Quick look on the console now, chasing down Edwin. Hassling him as they come into the Cashel Edge corner. Good line by the console, very wide. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow flag into the Red Bull corner. Last turn, yellow flag, boys. Please beware. Console's got going again. And we've got our first guy into the pit. Was it Uber into the pit? Maybe a forced pit lane there, maybe. Not sure, but he's the first into the pit, followed by Kembo into the pit too. These guys all probably wanted to get out of traffic as we take a look on board with Millsy. Coming up into turn 2, Remus. Good on the brakes. Into second, down into first, 45 litres on board. Let's have a quick look back what's going on with Uber and Kembo. They're both into the pit box at exactly the same time, so something to keep in note. We'll see who has the faster pit stop. Uber on track at the minute. As we take a look on board with Sherbet Gandhi and Uniclark. What is going on with these boys here? It looked like Uniclark and maybe have got the... Ooh, Uniclark on the run. He's in the draft. Shows him the inside into Schlossen corner, but slows it down, thinks better of it. Oh, it looks like Uniclark's very sideways, yellow flag, but pointing in the right direction, so he'll be definitely getting going again. The Console now at 10th position with Sherbet Gandhi and Tuggy in front of him. Edwin looks like he's pulling up on Javi a little bit, but it looks like Mills is having a bit of struggle with the 488, and that looks like Javi's on his inside coming into Rindt. Does Millsy see him? He does. It looks like Javi's through. Millsy has a quick look back on him, but looks like that position's conceded into the Red Bull Mobile corner. So Edwin on the back end of these guys now. That Merc very fast in a straight line, so see if Millsy can stick with the likes of Javi. Interesting to see. Edwin very quick through this section of track. Good line through there by Edwin though, to keep it within the confines of the track. Sherbet Gandhi into the pit now. So it looked like Uber, it was as you were on track. Coming out the pit lane, the position stayed the same with Kembo. Edwin very, very late on the brakes. Manages to get it stopped though. Millsy, really good job to see him in the background there as Millsy pulls a bit of time on Javi there. Let's have a look on board with Millsy. So come off this short little straight into the sludge goal corner. Javi goes defensive. Doesn't defend it too much. Let's go trackside. Does Millsy manage to get the trap move done? It looks like he's got the move done on there. Edwin through as well. Edwin with a much better drive out the sludge goal corner. Does Millsy go defensive? He doesn't. It's where the racing is at the minute. We'll have a quick look while Edwin's showing Millsy the inside. Does he manage to get it done through the Roush corner? Edwin's still on the outside. Millsy looks like he did delay the steering a bit, so Edwin probably got this position done, but Millsy's not going to want to throw it away. Good driving by Millsy to keep it off Edwin's car first, most and foremost there. Good driving. Javi in the background, lurking there, wanting to make up that position. We'll have a look back at Uniclark, who's managed to get going again. He's got Tuggy Bear in front of him. At the back of the grid at the minute, we've got our resident USA driver, Bama, versus our other resident USA driver. As we see, looks like Tuggy Bear on the inside, defending Rindt. As Uniclark very wide, they may have touched there off the track. Hopefully he can get going again without too much delay. Having out the start finish with Millsy still for company. Edwin looks very much closer to the back of Scotty Linsfoot, our Welsh driver from Swansea, coming up into turn 2 now. The first half of this track rewards power as the cars blast along 3 straightaways, separated by a pair of uphill right-handers, but then as our drivers work their way downhill, the circuit becomes a regular toboggan ride, as the cars canyon through a series of quick corners, including the exhilarating Rindt right-hander named after Austria's first F1 champion. Edwin shows him the inside, just get a reaction out of Scotty now. But Edwin's going to have the outside for this corner unless he's managed to get it done. So Scotty, much nicer line through that bit of track. Edwin forced to go a little wider there. He's having to just defend the line, does Scotty, but he needs to be careful pulling back over on the braking zone. Edwin very fast in that AMG. Looks like he's almost stalking Scotty down a little bit. Scotty, last time around, he was a good 2 seconds off the pace and maybe making a mistake. Edwin very quick behind him. Up the inside into Rindt. Looks like he'll have the... No, again. Scotty in front, very wide. That's going to be the position done. He'll have to slow down from that. I would have thought he'd have to slow down, but on track, still going. Edwin pulls out of the draft into turn 1, the Castrol Edge. Now, can he get it stopped in time? He does. Scotty sees him. Good driving by these two, but Edwin very, very wide there. Is that going to allow Scotty to come back up on the inside? Let's have a quick look. Yep, just having a look on board with Millsy here as these two are nearly side by side coming up into turn 2 of the Remus. Looks like Edwin has the position done on track and It does look like Scotty did pull in behind him now as Uniclark gets very, very close to the back end of these. Millsy still very much in the mix here in 6th place. Good driving. Let's take a look back here. We've got the console, who's been the biggest loser so far. May have taken his pit stop, but yeah, he's been so quick in sections of the track, but accidents forcing him very much widen out at the minute, so unlucky to see, but still going, still doing well. Kenbo, our resident USA driver, has bags and bags of patience, but yet again has been caught out as he goes very wide there. Yellow flag, turn 1 in the Castrol Edge corner. Bama now. Where is he? As we go on to the map view. He is coming up onto turn 2. Bama holding 12th. About 5 seconds ahead of him as he's 5/10 down on his best lap at the minute, so the lads need to put in some good better lap times. We'll take a look on board with what Mills is up to. He's chasing down Linsfoot still, but Sherbet Gandhi sitting in 11th at the minute. Millsy, 4/10 down on his personal best there, but these boys still very much in contention with each other. Right, on board with our race leader at the minute, who's got 2-second gap on Demobi. We'll have a look at Demobi and go on board with him as he hunts down Jasko VR. Demobi, our Bavarian driver, he's had some great race results so far. He's had a few seconds of race wins as well, so this lad very used to driving at the front of the grid. Only 2 seconds, 3 separating our top boys there, and Dafinio very close in company too, so Dafinio doing a good job by our Czech driver from Olomouc there, still with Demobi in sight of him. Just a quick on board with Millsy and Javi. Looks like Mills is stalking the back end of Scotty now, our Welsh driving Swansea, struggling maybe with the back end of that 488, and with not even half race distance, well, nearly coming up on it. Uniclark into the pit, taking his pit stop. So just running through the field again, Edwin now into 4th position. These boys on a good lap too. These boys, as he navigates the worst bit of the section of track coming up onto Rin. Of course, all these guys here were starting at the back of the grid, the diverse grid style we have for race 2. And they have absolutely been the class of the field. These boys now setting 130s and 131s. That is quick timing. Jasko, the class of the field last time around with a 130. Looks like Javi and Millsy still very much fighting with each other, very close to one another on track. Millsy into the pit. That's going to release Javi a little bit to chase down Linsfoot. Let's take a look back. Looks like Tuggy Bear's having a little bit of a quiet one, but he does have Ubar for company if he makes any mistake there. Ubar will be ready to pounce on him without a shadow of a doubt. One of our regulars, Ubar, in the Rubbins Racing League. Great, fantastic all-round driver. Sherbet Gandhi, another staple mate of the Rubbins Racing League. Having a bit of a mare. He did out last time too. Our British driver from Somerset. Likes the GT3 class, likes the LMP2 class as he runs wide coming around the Red Bull Mobile corner. Look back at Bama. Does he manage to get a better line through the Red Bull Mobile corner in the Lambo? He does. Managed to keep at least a couple of tyres within. So at the minute, our racing on track is between Millsy, who's pulled right up on the back of Tuggy Bear as they come up the straight into turn 2. Millsy looks like he's got the inside line. Oh, Millsy makes contact with Tuggy Bear. Tuggy Bear's going to have to have the position. Millsy's going to have to give that position. No, it looks like Tuggy Bear's got himself stuck in the wall too, so definitely something to think. Millsy's going to have to give that position, but Tuggy Bear nowhere to be seen, only just getting the car started now. We've just been confirmed on track. Mills is good to race. Engineers on track for Tuggy Bear. He lost the back end of the car and got it stuck in the barriers, so it's great to see the engineers on the radio to us there. Millsy, of course, giving the green light to go chase after Ubar, which indeed he is doing. Uniclark chasing down Kembo, needs to keep it clean. Kembo has been battered around like a rolling pin these last couple of races. Definitely not been clean, and he's definitely suffered because of it. Uniclark straight up power down that section of track into the sludge goal. Not much the Z4 can do. Uniclark's going to have the inside for this corner. Kembo sees the line. Looks like Sherbet Gandhi and Millsy are very close on track too. Let's have a quick look at them. Sherbet Gandhi very quick, but is prone to that back end kicking out. So these boys, Sherbet Gandhi, Millsy and Ubar, all within a second or two of each other. Then a bit further up the road, we've got Javi chasing down Scotty, and they've got 2 or 3 seconds in it. Let's have a quick on board with him. You can see physically what the gap looks like to Scotty in front. He's going to be doing a good job there. Back on board with Sherbet Gandhi. See how fast that 488 is. He's down this little short spurt up into turn 2, Remus. Looks like the 488's got it on the, at least acceleration-wise and top end. So Sherbet Gandhi going to have to be brave on the brakes, it looks like. Good line through there, though. Good exit by him, too. Millsy, good exit, too. Yeah, Tuggy Bear into the pit, taking his mandatory. Of course, Uber leading this train of cars away. Then, a further 12-13 seconds back, we've got Bama. So, just a mistake in it. We've got we've got Jasko coming up on traffic now. That's Kembo out the way. Good to see. Or was it Tuggy Bear? Maybe one of the two, but good to see that these boys now entering the last stages of this race. The Moby is next up. I'm sure Kembo will get the blue flag again. So these boys, Kembo, Clark, the Consul, will all have we'll all have the leaders coming up on them pretty soon. Sherbet Gandhi on the outside, it looked like, of Millsy. But Millsy, Sherbet Gandhi goes defensive, which is fine to do. Millsy got onto the brakes early there. Of course, both of them very wide, so sort of nullifying each other. But you can make a move to go defensive, but you cannot pull across that line as Millsy, all sorts of wide there, may have lost a bit of time. Uber, while these two fight, pulling away. He's managed to get 2 seconds on these guys, so Sherbet Gandhi down on his best. I presume he's fighting with Millsy there, so that'll be it. So can Sherbet Gandhi hunt down Uber in the AMG? This boy very good on the brakes. Back on board with Jasko VR, our Bosnian driver based in Vienna, new to the RRR leagues, and with the timing of these guys, I mean, 130 last time round, Demobi, 130, Dauphinio, 130, Edwin at 130. The only other guy that's really put times like that I seen was Sherbet Gandhi, and I regret that the Clark as well setting a 130. So these boys doing relatively good lap times. Jasko second off his best last time around, so maybe those tyres going off, or maybe him just taking a quick breather and assessing the situation. Demobi would be ready to pounce. He was, mind you, I say that, it was only a 10th in it really, last time around. It just looks like it was a 130, 131, but it was a flat. So Millsy still hawking down Sherbet Gandhi, but Sherbet Gandhi looks like he's a lot closer this time round to the back of Uber, which he is, and he gets a fantastic line off there. Sherbet Gandhi, a British driver from Somerset, gives us a show at the minute, that's for sure. He's chasing down Uber, the Dutch driver from Dream. Seems a lot better this time round for the AMG of Uber. It seems a little less squiggly as I say that. Get very wide. Mind you, Millsy very wide again in the background there. We've got fastest Sector 2 time of Edwin of a 38.3. Fastest lap at the minute is being held by Edwin with a 130.4. So Edwin on the charge at the minute. Last time round, fastest on track. Sherbet Gandhi trying to get the draft of the AMG. Looks like he got a lot better line there. But the AMG is going to be quick on the straights. But Sherbet Gandhi good on the brakes. See what these boys are like coming up into Remus now. Sherbet Gandhi starting to pick up his lap times a little bit. Good line through these boys through that section of the track. Uber still managing to keep in front of that Lambo. These boys very experienced in the Rubbins Racing League. It's good to see them out on track fighting with one another as we see a bit of traffic, I believe we've got there. That'll be Demobi coming up on the Consul. Consul gets right out the way. The Consul also has Dauphinio coming up on him. Dauphinio quick spot the headlights. He's going to see him. Great to see. Linsfoot Scotty into the pit, taking his pit stop. Javi takes that position. Sherbet Gandhi now even closer to Uber. Where's Linsfoot? Still in the pit. I don't think he's taken his stop yet, so these boys may have the position on track. Sherbet Gandhi much better line through there. Uber does go defensive. Navigated Worth into the Rint corner now. Uber goes defensive. Sherbet Gandhi on the outside, maybe looking for the cutback. Difficult bit of track to get going here. Oh, as Uber gets very sideways. These boys giving each other the room to race, but it looks like Sherbet Gandhi's got the move done. Linsfoot still stationary. Looks like they left him in neutral there, and he's lost a bit of time. So Uber and Sherbet Gandhi look like they're going to get that position done. Is Linsfoot, Scotty's just exited the pit lane now. This will be close. Look at the cockpit view we've got here of the boys. Uber can see these guys going at it now. Linsfoot just getting up to speed. His tyres are going to be cold. The brakes are going to be cold. Sherbet Gandhi looks like he's just stalking him into Remus now. Sherbet Gandhi on the inside is going to have the move done. Is Linsfoot going to concede another position with Uber behind him? Uber looks like he may have outbraked himself a little bit. We'll go trackside. Back on board with Linsfoot. lost that position coming out the pit. It was just momentum more than anything. That AMG looking menacing behind him. Linfoot makes a really late defensive move there. He's on the inside. Sherbet Gandhi see him. He does. Good driving by these boys. Ubard gets on the inside of him. He's going to make the places up. It looks like Scotty's gone defensive. Ubard looks like he's got the position done though, but what is it? Linfoot, Scotty's going to have the inside of him here. As I'd slightly lose focus a minute. They're still side by side. Ubard needs to be careful about cutting in. The boys keep it clean. That's good to see. Sherbet Gandhi still stalking him down. Still wants to see if he can get anything from it. Look how close these boys are as they navigate up into ring. Let's see if they can keep it clean. Ubard goes defensive. Looks like Sherbet Gandhi's wanting a piece of this too. So Linfoot maybe losing two here. He is. Slight contact by the boys there. Need to keep it cleaner. On board with Linfoot. Can he answer back? If we take a quick look back at these boys' score on board, because there you see that the AMG really class the field when it comes to the straight line, but Linfoot on the brakes, managing to get it started. Well done, guys. We'll go trackside because it looks like Linfoot may have pulled Scotty side by side. Sherbet Gandhi cuts him way off there, but that's his move done. He cannot make that other move across the track. Looks like Linfoot's going to have a go. Edwin now on the back of Demobi. Ubard goes defensive. Oh, Linfoot outbroke himself very much there. It's going to allow Linfoot and Sherbet Gandhi through. Sorry, Ubard and Sherbet Gandhi through. So Linfoot, yeah, definitely outbreaking himself. Edwin, let's have a quick look. Definio into the pit. Console coming way out the way there. Good driving by him. Definio into the pit. Demobi into the pit. Jasko going for it with a 130 last time around. Good lap. Take a quick look back at Linfoot, Sherbet Gandhi. Sorry, Scotty's still on the back end of these. Sherbet Gandhi not content with 7th. He's going to want Ubard's place. It looks like Demobi's just pulling into his pit box. Definio's got going again, so it'll be between Definio and Javi. So we take a quick look board on Javi. Will he have it done? Let's quick look at him. Looks like, yeah. Definio, very quick stop. Demobi's still in the pit, but he's got going again, and lose that there. Looks like a bit of lapped. Right, yeah, it is. That is definitely lap traffic. So Sherbet Gandhi still hunting down Ubard. Javi and Definio very close to each other on track. So doing a good job between them. Javi, our Australian driver, is a lifetime sim racer, just like the GT. He's racing project cars for 5 months now. Going very well here in our feature. Take a quick look back at what Sherbet Gandhi's up to in the draft of the AMG now, as they come off the turn 1 into turn 2. The AMG looks like it's still pulling a little bit. Goes defensive. Sherbet Gandhi on the outside, up on his lap time at the minute. Maybe have to delay his steering a little bit there just so he didn't make too much contact. Good driving by these boys, but yeah, he gets going again pretty well there. Good traction coming out that corner there. I thought maybe that Scotty was going to have a chance, but again, Edwin into the pit. So having a quick look on back, Edwin just coming in now. Definio looks like he'll have that position done. Just navigating the rinse bit of the track. Take a quick look on board. Edwin still not pulled up into the pit box. Looks like Definio's going to have that position. And Javi not far behind him either, so where is Edwin? Edwin now got going again. Edwin's going, so Definio through. Javi looks like he'll have the spot too. It may be close. Where's Demobi in all this? Demobi only just coming around the start finish, so it looks like Edwin's going to keep hold of 4th position at the minute, but still maybe a stop or two to make. Taking a quick look back at Ubard. They execute the rinse section of track. Sherbet Gandhi very wide through there. Just a quick look at Edwin. Has he managed to keep it going? He has. Demobi now will go and have a look at the roof cam and see that gap. That is what 3 seconds looks like on the Red Bull ring at the minute. So Demobi chasing down Edwin. Good driving throughout the field at the minute. Ubard navigating turn 1 with Scotty for company. Giving some fantastic racing here, these boys, down the start finish. Let's have a quick look on board now with Scott. Scott doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed to really challenge that AMG at the minute. Jasko into the pit. He has 20 odd seconds on Definio. Definio still navigating the Worth section of track, so Jasko into the pit. Still not up in his pit box yet. So them boys just executed Worth coming into Rin. Jasko still not in his box quite yet. Definio navigating traffic, so that's going to play into the hands of Jasko a little bit. Jasko stopped. And he's going again. That looked very slick. Dauphinio only just entering the Red Bull Mobile corner now, so it looks like navigate the console. It looks like Jasko's got the move. Got that pit stop in hand there, very much so. The console coming very much out the way there. So that's what it looks like with Dauphinio just coming into turn 1 now. Jasko VR. Exit is Dauphinio very wide, the console very wide. So on the track at the minute by 4 seconds is Dauphinio to Jasko. We've got Javi into the pit. So let's have a quick look back there for the traffic as Sherbet Gandhi comes up on him. Looks like he's going to have 5th place. Take a quick look. Yeah, Avi is still stationary. Now he's going again, so Sherbet Gandhi may have the position bump, but we're looking at Border. Linsfoot has got round that AMG. Is the AMG going to have a go back on him again? He shows him the inside into turn 1. Javi lost a lot of positions there in the pit lane. Uber makes the move stick, does he? He does indeed. Where is Javi in this? Javi just managing to get it out in front of Millsy, who I think did make a mistake there, so maybe Millsy, without that mistake, maybe grabbed another position. Kembo hassling the back of the console too. Good to see these boys still fighting. Let's have a quick on board with Kembo, our driver from the USA. Told you hats off him, thank him for joining us at this early hour. 2 attempts up on his best lap at the minute. A lot of patience this guy has. Sitting 13th for the minute. Looks like he's stalking the console. Better lap by Kembo last time around by a good whack as well. I mean, it was a couple of seconds. Looks like the console has come way out the way of those guys. Good to see you. If we take a look on board with Scotty chasing down Uber. It looks like throughout the lap, Scotty's got his number there, our Welsh driver, and then getting onto the straights. It looks like Uber, our Dutch driver, just that AMG just opens up the taps, and therefore it cannot live with it. But these positions, swapping and changing, it's good to see them fighting. Mills is still on the back end of these guys as well. Looks like Kembo might be a bit closer this time around. Good to see these boys still going at it. 14 grid field, still relatively large. Lap 21, only a few more laps to go now as Scotty gets very wide. Maybe lost a bit of traction and a chance to attack into turn 1. We'll take a little bit back. Millsy, a lot closer to Javi this time around now, so Millsy, 2 seconds down on his best though. So, last time around we've got Jasko as Millsy may have that position done track-wise. So, Jasko VR leads on track, coming through the Worth bit now. He is 4 seconds up on Dauphinio. 2 tenths down on his best, but that may be due to tyre wear. Dauphinio following him, doing a good job. You have to hold your hat off to him. Let's have a quick look at the timings here. Well, let me see if the pit stops are on, unfortunately. So, we'll presume this is it for now as we take a look on board with... Who are we looking at? Ubar defending into the Sludge goal corner. Goes defensive. Scotty on the outside with a tighter cut back in now. These boys still fighting over 7th and 6th. Ubar struggled in the first race, especially with the back end of that Mercedes seeming to go off. The more the race carried on. Ooh, as Scotty shows him the inside. Just trying to get a reaction out of Ubar, our Dutch driver. Good driving by these boys. Quick look back at what Avi's up to. Millsy's still there for company. Uniclark now. Uniclark managing to get going again, and he's got Bammer in front of him. Bammer also our American driver, racing for 3 years, plenty of experience. Favourite class is stated as the GT4, and he's just now getting comfortable with the setup of the Lamborghini. Good to see him holding a top 10th position there. We'll go back on forward with our Welsh driver. He may have got a better run there. Quick on board with these guys. Up into turn 1. AMG pulls out a gap. Looks like the 488's a bit better on the brakes. But keep on board with him again as he got the run on him. Look at how fast the AMG is just off that banking there. This is what I mean. So you'll have to try something in the braking, and that's even if he's got the distance, because how much that AMG of Ubard, our Dutch driver, pulls out there. So our driver from Dreef doing a good job at the minute, sticking in front of our Swansea-based driver. It's all to play for still. Quick look back at what Javi and Millsy are up to. Still within each other. Any mistake from these two guys here and they're going to pounce on it. Uniclark looks like he's a bit 3 tenths down on his best at the minute, but he's still hassling Bammer as we'll take a quick look on board. Possible roof shot will be better. Yep. Coming off Remus, turn 2 into turn 3. Schlossman Gold. Will Bammer go defensive? He doesn't. So Uniclark on the inside. Go track side. Yep. Looks like he's got that position done. Bama very experienced there, just comes off the accelerator or holds on the brakes, the laser steering, so there's no contact. Good driving by these boys. Looks like Linsfoot's still haggling Uber a little bit. He is. Again, coming up onto the straight now, so that AMG is going to go bye-bye. It looks like he's managed to pull out a gap there as well on Scotty, so as he seems to be struggling with the Red Bull mobile corner a lot, does Uber, but managing to maintain that 1 second gap there. Bama, he's fighting back a little bit. He's now on his best at the minute. But looks like, you know, if he keeps it in the right direction, he could be able to fight for at least the top 10 position. So that's very much not over yet as we keep a look on board with Uber and Scotty. Good jobs. Jasko, VR, our Bosnian driver based in Vienna. 3 seconds to Dauphinio now. Dauphinio maybe pulled a second that time round. Catching, you can see Dauphinio in the background there. Dauphinio, our Czech driver from Olomouc, doing a great job to keep on the back of someone like Jasko. Edwin, our champ leader, sitting in third at the minute. Demobi, 4 seconds off him. Doing a good job, Edwin, through the Rint corner. Our Colombian driver, a little wide there. Demobi, coming through that same section of track. A lot more tidier that time round. Console just in the background there, bit of lap traffic. Sherbet Gandhi having a little bit of a quiet one. He's got 6 seconds to Uber, and there's a big ass gap in front to Demobi, around 15 seconds. So Sherbet Gandhi's still in a good points position scoring position. British driver from Somerset doing a good job. Linsfoot still not wanting to settle for that 7th place. Now we're coming up nearly on the last lap soon, so these boys, it's all going to be all or nothing at the minute. At the minute, it's as you were. Linsfoot chasing down Uber. Javi chasing down Millsy. Quick on board with Dauphinio. Let's have a look if you can actually see. You can definitely hear Jasko's Lamborghini. There it is in the distance. That's what 3 seconds looks like with nearly a lap of the race to go. A lot of steering input by Dauphinio as we were in the cockpit with him as he's navigating the Roush section. Tidy line through there. Good to see. Looks like Dauphinio's a second down on his best lap at the minute, so not setting the lighting finger light, but he was last time around 5 tenths up on Jasko, so maybe Jasko backing off a little bit. Scotty's still on the arse ends of Uber. Good seeing these fighting going on. Good to see that Javi's still on the back of Millsy too, but Dauphinio chasing down that Lambo in front of him. Just a further 6 seconds back, as you can just see there, entering the Red Bull mobile corner is our champ leader on the points at the minute, Edwin, our Colombian driver. Demobi, not too far from him either. Good line through there by Demobi. Demobi, one of our stables here, he is a regular to Rubbins Racing, our Bavarian driver. Likes to study people's lines, he's very patient. We'll have a look where the racing is at the minute. Scotty must be sick of the sight of Uber. I'm pretty sure he was following him in Barcelona as well, the previous round where he was hassled and Uber managed to keep in front of him for the majority of that race, and at the end of it, Scotty had absolutely sick to death of seeing the back end of Uber's car. But last lap, I think at the minute, Jasko VR still leading this race. Dauphinio 2 seconds behind, definitely catching. But last lap time, it looks like Jasko, our Bosnian driver from Vienna, is going to take the race win, but it isn't finished yet. Navigating Worth. Good line. Good driving. Dauphinio, a second behind now. Wasn't far at all. You must think a couple of laps more and Dauphinio may have been challenging there, but 1 second behind Jasko is no easy task, let me tell you. Good to see our Bosnian driver based out of Vienna come across home and take the feature race. Rubbins Racing, round 4, feature race. It is Jasko VR, followed by Dauphinio, who puts in a shift and a half. Good job. Edwin now coming home in 3rd place from the back of the grid. Our Colombian driver doing a hell of a job there to finish off our podium spots. Good driving. Demobi coming also from the back of the grid, doing a great job. 4th place, some good points there. A bit further back, Sherbet Gandhi now navigating that bit of track. Looks like in the background, Scotty's still hassling the arse end of Uber a little bit, but maybe as you were a little bit. But Millsy and Javi are very close on track too. Sherbet Gandhi now up the start finish, got the position done. Sherbet Gandhi, our British driver from Somerset. Nice points finish in 5th. Uber what can you say? Our Dutch driver there manages to keep it pointing in the right direction, finishing up in front of Scotty. Millsy looks like managed to get that position done in the end. I'm not sure. I think he was behind, so... Yep, and that my pad decided to turn itself off there as well with low charge. What a hell of a race so far by these boys. All race winners done. So that would be our grid for race 2, our feature race. And foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the stream, but I'd like to thank our drivers that are absolutely from all over the world tonight for coming in, spending the time and joining us. Like, I can't thank you enough. Without all you guys on track, this just wouldn't work or happen. So from everybody here at Rubbin Racing Crew, a massive thank you for everyone out on track, and a massive thank you for everyone supporting us on the YouTube channel for what we're doing. But from all of us here at Rubbins Racing, a lot of love and peace.